Okay, folks, section 6.3, proportions. We've talked about ratios, which are fractions with the same unit. We talked about rates, which are fractions with different units. Today, we're going to talk about proportions. Two equal fractions are called a proportion. So, for instance, for example, 2 over 3 is equal to 14 over 21. Is that true? Is that true? Are those two things equal, Lou?
Yes.
That it is true. 3 times 7 gives me 21, and 2 times 7 gives me 14. This fraction equals that fraction. So this entire thing is called a proportion, not the letters example there. Let's see. This is called a proportion, a fraction equaling a fraction. Okay? Now, here's an example of a proportion that needs to be solved. Well, let me write one up here, Isabel. I'm going to write in, let's see, we'll start with 4 over 7 is equal to, I'm thinking. I don't like 4 sevens. Let me try, I like this one. How about 5 6, okay, is equal to something over 15. Okay. Wait a minute. What do I multiply 6 by to get 15? Is it something even, Lou?
No.
It's not.
So don't you have to divide 6 by 15?
Well, I'm going to tell you what we do. I'm going to move this down. Okay? Let's see if it'll get out of our way here. Let's go back up, and let me show you how we do this. Remember, if two fractions are equal, we can always cross multiply.
Oh, yes.
So how do I write 6 times x? How do I write that?
6 times x.
I'm just going to write 6 right next to x, right next to it. And then I'm going to multiply 5 times 15. Okay? And 5 times 15 is 75. Okay? But how do I get the x by itself? Do you remember what Ms. Smith said?
Yeah.
Do you remember, Caroline?
You have to solve for the other side.
Well, I need to get the x by itself. That's true. You know what I do? I'm going to divide this side by 6. But remember when we were solving equations? If I do one thing to one side of a seesaw, I got to do it to the other. So let me ask you this. What is 6 divided by 6? That's just 1, right? So these just go away. And they leave me with x. Let's see how many times 6 goes into 75. 6 goes into 75. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract, I'm going to get 15. How many times 6 go into 15? Twice. 2 times 6 is 12. And then 3. I don't have 1 to bring down. I could leave it as a mixed number, couldn't I?
Yes.
What would it be as a mixed number?
12
12
and 3 6.
and 3 6, which is the same as what, Isabel? 12 and 3 6 is the same as 12.5 or 12 and a half. So that means that x is equal to 12 and 1/2 or 12.5. Are you happy with that?
Fractions.
Cross multiply the two that you've got, multiply those two, and divide by the one by itself. 5 times 15 and then divide by 6. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now let's go down here. And let's look at this first example. And it says, you are making a scale drawing of a room. The actual room has a width of 18 feet and a length of 24 feet. That's the actual room, but I don't want a map of my room that's the same size as my room. That's too big. It doesn't fit in my pocket or on my desk. I need a map that's smaller, but I need it to be the same proportion. The scale drawing of the room has a length of 4 inches. What is the width going to be? Can you help me set up a proportion that would help us find that? Well, you know what? Let me stop this video. We'll pick it up on the next video, okay?